Yeah, not so good. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. So good to see you and so good to see you. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Deja Brew. Today, we're going
Yeah,
to talk about some crazy cool stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, might be a little scary to some people, but from my perspective, it's just crazy cool. So, we're going to talk about the earthquake that happened in Alaska, 7.2, earlier this week. And we're also going to talk about the sun with its new wobble thing that it's doing. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, there's some serious stuff with that.
right. So, Candy, you want to talk about the earthquake? You want to begin with the earthquake and then we'll just kind of both talk about it.
Okay, well, I've not done a lot of research on the earthquake that just happened,
Okay.
but the one prior to that done a lot of damage. And there is a storm coming, another wave. And what I mean by wave, the earthquakes are just going to keep picking up and getting bigger and bigger. And
Right.
Alaska, I feel like Alaska is the starting point, and the Earth, when it shifted, it has moved faster than it ever has before. 1.9,
That's right.
like I said the last time, milliseconds in the last year since 2022. I
Hmm.
feel like Alaska is a starting point for a lot of stuff because they have the Black Pyramid there. There's a lot of underground things going on they
Okay.
don't want us to know about.
Let's let's talk just for a moment about that black pyramid before we move on.
Yes.
For our audience that doesn't understand that, explain to them what that is and the significance.
Okay. It is a very high energy vortex pyramid. And there are people and things within that pyramid. And I know that it goes down in the ground because I've seen it, like elevators that go down in the ground and stuff. I've seen it through like
Hmm.
astro projection and stuff, or what I want to call remote viewing type of thing.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
uh, I just know that, and it's covered with snow. And if people would Google Earth, the Pyramid of Alaska, it'll take you to it. It'll show you. There's other ways of
Okay.
seeing it. I mean, it's on the internet 'cause they got to put it out there, right?
Hmm. That's right. And I would like to also just add to that that where it's located in Alaska is one of our main energy access points of the planet, one of the more
Yes.
powerful ley lines, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a real
This is
powerful
what
ley
creates the
line.
energy vortex. Yeah.
Yes, it is. And there's also uh, higher up in the mountains, above the 7,000 elevation. Okay, when you go 7,000 feet up, above that
Hmm.
elevation and going to the other side, there's what they call giants. And there's a lot of stuff in Alaska going on that the people there,
There
they
is.
know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The people of that area know full well. And that's a whole nother topic, maybe for another show, to talk about all the giants and the
Yeah.
different anomalies just in Alaska alone, let alone the rest of the country.
Hmm.
Because we've
Yeah.
found giants in other parts of the country too.
Well,
But
let me tell you,
so
they're here.
that's right. They are most definitely. And they've been here a long, long time.
Oh,
So
yeah, they have.
moving on now, we were talking about this is actually the second rather large earthquake that Alaska has experienced recently. And the whole ring of fire is
Uh-huh.
literally on fire right now in the Pacific.
Yes.
All of that is
Yeah.
active. Yellowstone
Mm-hmm.
is waking up. All of the
Yeah.
dormant volcanoes throughout the United States and other places in the world, all those dormant magma chambers are now active and moving and creating the or causing the hot springs to even move and relocate
What
in
it's
some
doing,
cases.
the, well, Yellowstone, the reason they shut it down a lot, there are so many people come up missing. That's another 411 episode there. But anyway, so many people are
Yeah.
coming up missing there. And the reason they shut it down because all the molt, like they call it molten and stuff, the everything was turning, even the concrete, everything was turning to like lush, to water, mud and water, almost like a
Liquefaction.
quicksand. Yeah, they
Mhm.
was doing that, and that's why
Liquefaction. Excuse me. The
animals.
word is liquefaction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. See, I take a lot of notes. I do a lot of research. Uh, I don't
Yeah.
have like
Now,
all my notes in front of me, but I'm pretty good with my memory.
right, right. Yeah. No, you're doing fine. And also, just a small point here for the liquefaction that's happening. The important
Hmm.
reason to take note of that is that that's an energetic frequency change, right? When you're taking, I mean, we all learned this in basic science class that atoms move, right? They're always moving. And the more they're moving, the more solid the mass. The less they're moving, the more mush and watery or liquidy it becomes, right? I think I'm saying that
Yeah,
right. I don't
yeah.
think I said it backwards. And like this is something that happens during an earthquake. A lot of times you will find that the solid mass of land will turn into water and the water will come up through the earth where you've never seen water before. You know, that happens a lot
Hmm.
during an earthquake because that
Hmm.
frequency change is happening in that moment. And these
Yeah,
frequency changes are happening now in places like Yellowstone and even in Indiana, where we have hot springs that are now on the move. These frequency changes are happening because the Earth itself's frequency is fluxing. And that's why we pay attention to like the Schumann resonance and things like that, because this flux is
hmm,
happening, this change, where everything's getting an upgrade. Everything's going to change. Our planet, the solar
yeah.
system,
It
our
is.
sun,
Yeah.
everything, which is
Yes,
going to lead
yes.
us
Our
into our next
frequency.
topic of the wobble with the sun, but we'll get to that in a minute. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. I just, the storm to come. The first wave was the virus, the pandemic, or whatever you want to call it. The second wave coming is not going to be just for the United States. This will be worldwide. Okay. And I have a lot of warnings because,
And we'll get into those in a moment. We'll get into the
okay,
premonitions and the
yeah.
biblical text coming to
Well,
pass in a few moments. But
it's not even really, it's
but
not.
Alaska is a
Mhm.
significant signifier, if you will, or a precursor
Yeah, I
for
believe that's
bigger
where it
things
all
to come.
starts. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's all things are coming from out of Antarctica. The North Pole and the South Pole, and they have no
Okay.
fly zones there. They
But they're
do all
changing.
that,
They're
and
currently change. The poles are
yes, but it
trying to
connects with.
change.
Look, I believe
Mhm.
uh, of inner Earth. Okay, I've always felt
I do
like
too.
his,
Absolutely.
history is not how they teach us, of course. And
No,
I
no, not at
remember
all.
being in high school, getting in an argument with my teacher about I could not stand U.S. history because in my
I
mind's
couldn't eat.
eye, I could see the truth, and I'd be like,
So
that
wrong.
did not happen that way. Yeah, but what are you gonna do?
Hmm.
Because you're a kid, you're in
Right. I mean, how
school,
can you?
and you got to do what you got to do. But as soon as I got out of school, I was like, you know what? That's a bunch of crap. you know,
Yeah.
because I am a
Right.
very
How,
well. I'm a very intelligent woman. Okay, I'm a very
Right, you are.
independent
I agree with that.
and intelligent
And you're
intelligent
also
woman, and
intuitive.
I'm
And
very intuitive.
I feel
And
like I feel like we all come here with that knowing. It's just that on some
yes,
level
but
or another, society suppresses it and tells people not to listen to it and not to pay attention to it anymore and to just listen to what we're teaching you over here. Put your
look,
blinders on.
it
Don't
takes
listen to what your voice
it
in your
takes
head is telling you.
yeah, it takes 2 generations to change a
I know.
society,
Yeah.
and they have been doing that. They've been doing it. They slowly work it in. But there are
Oh,
so many
with
people
all
that
sorts of
have
things.
awakened. Well, there's a great awakening going on. People are opening their eyes. And you know, it breaks my heart because even talking to family and stuff, the ones that know. The ones that don't, that you love anyway, that will not listen to you because they think you're crazy. I'm like, you know what? Now, every I said, look, I'm not going to get religious on you, but I am going to say these words because we're not to take away from or add to God's words. And we are his children, and he's been spanking us. Now he's getting ready to shake us, and the next one is going to be
Right.
a whooping. And let's
Right.
go
And
back to
again,
Alaska.
hold on just a moment. Let me put
Okay,
my 2 cents
but
worth
see
in there.
everything. Okay, listen, everything connects together. It's
Yeah.
spiritual as well as physical. And
Oh, I
people
agree 100%.
that are not spiritual have spiritual eyes to see and don't ask for the blinders to be taken off your eyes. You know, the veil. The veil is just not around this earth, it is around your eyes. You've got to
So,
ask for it to be lifted off so that you can see the truth. But you've got to, sometimes you have to fast, and fasting just means eat breakfast and then don't eat nothing else. I'm not saying that to anybody that's diabetic or, you know, low blood sugar and all that stuff. You have to eat throughout the day, several meals a day. But sometimes I
yeah.
fast for
Well,
3 or 4 days.
I feel like everyone has their own way and their own path to achieving the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, where some people
Mm-hmm.
would fast or meditate, other people it's not right for them. So
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I
No,
feel
I
like that's an
understand
each
that
to their
completely.
own kind of a thing.
I'm
And
helping.
I
I'm
also
helping. Mhm.
I also feel like
Okay.
though I fully believe in God and I fully believe that we should be connected to God, to a creator, to nature, to spirituality
Yeah.
and all those things, I
Yes.
feel like what you just described is more of a metaphorical or philosophical way to paint a picture and explain to people the importance of that connection. Because in my opinion, I know that you come from more of a Christian based background, and that's fine. No
Well, no,
problems
no, no.
there.
Well,
I'm just trying to
we can say
offer. Just a minute,
Christian.
please. Just a minute. Just a
Okay.
minute. Um, I come from another perspective of it that I like to offer more than one view, and that is the point of why I want to do shows with you, so that we can show more than one
Yeah.
perspective, more than one
Yeah.
view of things. And
Mm-hmm.
from my perspective, being more nature based and understanding the connectiveness that you were just talking about with everything, that we're all symbiotic to each other. And that includes the energy that we carry as people or an animal or a plant or whatever, but that energy contributes
Mm-hmm.
to the collective of everything as a whole. And so from my perspective and my viewpoint and the knowledge that I came here with this time, um, my understanding is that this is a cyclical thing that happens X amount ever so often, right? The pole
Mm-hmm.
shift, the binary
Mm-hmm.
star, the
Yeah.
earthquakes, the changes, the vibrational up. retrograde, the whole thing, right? It's a cyclical event, several cyclical events all culminating at once.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
in this moment, it's like similar, my belief is similar to, or my knowing rather, is similar to the Native Americans when they say that this is that time in our life where we have that choice. As always, we have a choice. But if we don't choose to change, if we don't choose to wake up and come back to God and be more connected to nature and be more in balance with things, that we're going to get our ass whooped a bit to teach us a lesson,
Yes, yes.
and
Everything you just okay.
that's actually even my premise for not really defending the Georgia Guidestones, but understanding maybe their perspective on it a little bit more when they say on the Guidestone that we need to be in balance with the earth and not be a cancer upon it, you know, because we're just
Yes.
mere parasites to the earth, right? And if we're not going to do right
Okay.
by the earth and be in balance with the earth, she's going to move and whoop us off, right?
Right.
So it's our choice.
Well,
Which one do we want to do?
pardon me. Okay. Now, let me say this because we agree to disagree and we disagree to agree. Kelly and I have been
Absolutely.
friends for a very long time. But I want to
Yes.
say this. When when I say it from how people call it a Christian view, okay, I am of love, light, and God Almighty. But it's not
Oh,
coming from. Wait a minute, wait a minute. I don't belong to a religion. I've done tried all that.
right.
Okay,
I know.
I belong to
Yeah.
God, and I'm a child of God, and I do understand the Native American ways because I was raised with all that.
Of
Uh,
course. Of
and
course. I mean,
yeah, and like we
there was no
talked.
pun intended, really.
No, no,
It's
I
beneficial
know,
in my
but
opinion.
see, right. But if we believe
It's
in God and
beneficial
a
to
higher
viewing God.
power, here's what gets me. Okay, let me say this. So I know we're talking about Alaska and the Black Pyramid and the giants and all that stuff, but I want to say this because it's very important. Um, People, you need to wake up. I've had an
You need to
experience
wake up, people.
of a lifetime. You need to wake up
I agree.
because,
I agree.
yes, and I have always known in my spirit, okay? I've always known in my spirit that I would be in my 50s, late 50s, because I'm
Oh,
56 now. So I always knew that I would be in my 50s. I wasn't for sure in
yeah.
the beginning 50s or the late 50s, but it's going to be my later 50s. And I'm in the middle
Yeah.
right now. But
Yeah.
there's more stuff to come.
Mhm.
And that's because they want to
Oh,
bring about
definitely.
their agenda. But see, there's all these hubs around the world. There's pyramids everywhere, and they're using all that energy to their benefit. And it's not for the
Agreed.
good.
No, it's not.
It's not
And I
for the
still sit here
good.
and smile.
I
I
know, me
still sit
too.
here and
Right, right.
smile because because it's all meant to be that way. In my understanding of God, He's in control and always has been and always will be.
Yes.
This has always
Yes,
been
he
part of the
will.
plan.
And he is.
We
Yeah.
have to see
Yeah.
these things. We have to see these
Yes.
things.
Let's see it
These things
through.
have to happen in order to force change because we have free will. We've always had free will. And
Yes,
so if
we
we
do.
don't
And if
choose
people don't,
collectively
that's right.
to grow,
That's right.
then
Hmm.
collectively we fall.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. When I was living at my cousin's house, her daughter come to stay. Her daughter's 35, 36 years old, and she has had a lot of trauma in her life. And I started talking to her about everything because she is very intuitive, but she associated it with the demonic and this and that and the other. And I've been
Sure.
talking to her I reached out to her. I seen comments she made on Facebook. I reached out to her. And when I did, it exploded. And she said, I didn't listen to you before, but I'm going to listen to you now because I'm having a great awakening. And for her to say that and to know the meaning of that is very tremendous. Okay.
Right.
And I told her, you've got to get, because she told me that she'd been feeling a lot of things, a lot of things been coming to her, and that she called me and said, I feel like somebody put a curse on me. And I said, they have not. They have not. You renounce that and you bind it up and cast it out. And I said, and I'm going to tell you this. Uh, you need to know. She said, yeah, but I felt it in the pit of my stomach. I said, that's because that's your intuition telling you there's somebody in your circle that's not good for you. And she said, how do you know all this? She said, I just got rid of somebody, that she thought was a friend. And I said, look, it is written. We have to watch who we let in our circle because when you are awakened and everybody out there that's awake, like Kelly and like myself, okay, I'm a very spiritual person. I can do Reiki healings. I can see things. I can hear them. I know a lot of stuff. I just don't talk about it very often. It has taken me a very long time to be able to discuss some things that I discuss because I was always taught not to talk about these things because when I was a young girl, my dad would, like I said, my dad would take me fishing. He would say, Candy, don't you dare tell a soul what you know because they will come and take you from me. Because my father was the
Yeah.
same way. I mean, it's in my bloodline, kind of hot and heavy. And I
Yeah.
understood what he meant. I understood. It's like I've always had this understanding. And anybody
Right.
that's ever come
And
at me, huh?
it is a very important time with this great awakening that's happening. And much like yourself, you knew that it was something that would happen in your 50s. My entire life, I've known that it was something that would really begin to happen in my late 40s. Though I really never understood, how do we get the world to stop long enough to wake up? And then a
Yeah,
pandemic happened. And now look, and that's another thing for to look at a new perspective here that I want to offer to people is that people call it a pandemic. They know it was a plan, but they're always looking at that from a negative, nefarious point of view. But again, I would ask you to decide, you know, is your God a God that can be duped, or is your God the Almighty God that has control and has the handle on the whole damn thing? So, yeah, it
mm,
was planned. Definitely, it was planned, just like anything else that we need to see playing out in this shit show or circus show of a world that we have right now, whatever you want to call it,
yeah,
because
yeah,
people do not just naturally change. People have to usually be forced to change. That's a fact. That's not my opinion. That's not some belief system. That's a freaking fact from studying human nature. Go look it up. Anybody can look it up. People do not
yeah,
generally change unless they're forced to. Well, if our creator created us, then he knows damn well how we react to things and what we will do and what we won't do and what pushes our buttons, just like I know what my kids are going to do and what they're not going to do without me coaxing them or tricking them or, reverse psychology coming at them kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I know my kids,
yeah.
you know, and God made us and he knows us.
Hmm.
So all of these things are things that have to happen to force change
Yeah.
because otherwise we're not going to effing change. We're not.
Well, I know somebody said, well, if you're so smart and you know all these things, when are you going to die? Somebody asked me that question, and I just want to put it out there. I'm going to
Don't
go
listen.
whenever it's my
Don't
time.
even dignify.
No, I don't
Don't
need, I,
dignify such a
no,
thing with a
let me,
response.
here's what I, no. I don't even think about that kind of stuff because I know I'm here for
Don't
a
let people
reason.
test you like that. I
No, they
hate that
ain't
kind of
testing me
shit.
because
Look,
yeah,
I,
they
being
asked me about the lottery
being an
numbers. I said the lottery
yeah,
numbers. I said it's not that kind
that's
of
stupid.
ability.
It ain't like that.
Yeah,
No. And it's not, you can't be that kind of a channel and that kind of open to God and source knowledge and have some type of ulterior motive in your heart. That's just not possible.
no, I
You're not
know
going to
it. I
connect
know. Yeah.
energy with that kind of negativity. So don't even
Pardon
dignify
me.
them with a response.
I know. I liked about died when somebody
I
asked me
just,
that.
oh,
I was like, what kind of question
yeah,
is that? Why
that
would you want
gripes
to know
me.
that even? I don't even think about that kind of stuff. I think about butterflies and the
Yeah.
beauty of nature and what we can do to
Yeah. I mean,
better ourselves and mankind.
yeah. I've had
People don't
people say to me,
understand
well, if
the
you're a,
light can overcome the darkness.
that's right. But I've had people try to test me and they're like, well, if you're a psychic, then what am I thinking right now? Read my mind. And though I am telepathic and I can hear thoughts, they have to be loud thoughts in order for me to hear them. Otherwise, you're naturally shielded. We all walk around in our own Faraday cage, and people just don't realize that.
Yeah.
We all naturally
Well,
shield ourselves or project energy, either way. We do that at
well,
will,
like,
and we don't even have to consciously think about it.
yeah. And people will say, uh, like, when I moved to North Carolina, everywhere we went, because we went through
North
Lexington, Kentucky,
Carolina.
and up through the mountains, and we ended up in Greenville, North Carolina. And because I went back to school down there, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell y'all what, some of North Carolina, I love North Carolina, and everybody's like, "Well, you got a country accent," and I was like,
You
"Whatever."
do.
I can't even
No,
understand some words.
I was,
No, but
I was
they
just,
asked me to say pecan. They asked me to say pecan because I got family down there, y'all. They asked me to say pecan, and I said, "Well, the way I was raised, every time we said pecan, we got in trouble. We had to say pecan. So we say pecan in Indiana, and we are Southern
right,
Indiana. We're not North. They call us Northerners."
right,
And I said,
right.
"I don't live in the North. I'm a Southern woman." They're
I
like,
was
"Yeah,
just
but
fixing
you're
to tell
North of
you,
us."
you got such a good Southern accent. I'd swear you was raised right in Arkansas with me.
I know, I know. I can get my Southern accent
North
going
Carolina.
too.
You said
Yes, I
Georgia,
love
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina. Yeah, I
Too
would like to
funny.
move to Georgia or North Carolina,
Oh,
but
God.
I got to be
Me too.
high up
Those
in the
mountains
mountains. I'm not going. I know I'm not. Well, see, I done live by the ocean. I don't want to do that. I want to be up in the
those,
mountains.
no, those mountains have a piece of my soul. I belong there. I think that's where I
I'm
must have
gonna.
first lived when I came here or
Well,
something.
see, that's what I'm saying. You know how we call it deja
Yeah.
vu? I was having deja vu all the way there, and I even seen and ran
Yeah.
into people that I knew that I knew, but I didn't know. I knew them from a past life,
Right. Right.
and I'd go
I
up and
love it when
tell
that
them stuff
happens.
about. I know I'd go up and tell them stuff, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, where are you from? You're freaking me out." I'm like, "No, I knew you from
Yeah.
past life. Let me tell you some stuff," and it would freak them out really bad. One lady,
It always
she said,
does.
"I love you,
Yeah.
but don't you tell me nothing." And some people,
Don't you tell
I
me
don't see
nothing.
nothing about them. Yeah, some people I don't see nothing about them because they have a dark soul.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know. hmm But there
Okay.
is a
So,
black
let,
pyramid in Alaska.
yes. I was just getting ready to recap. Black
Yeah, and
Pyramid,
the earthquake.
Alaska,
Yeah.
7.2. All the magma chambers are becoming active
Do
again that
you
have been
know?
dormant.
Do
Hot
you know
springs
what
are on the
township?
move.
You know what area that it hit? See, I haven't had time to really do any thinking or
Um,
research because we had a
can't
death in the family
remember. I'll
yesterday.
Google. Yes, yes, I know. I'll Google it real fast.
Yeah, please do.
Here we go.
So that way I can try to focus.
Una, Una, Alaska.
Una.
It's called Una, Alaska,
Oh, that's pretty
out near a
desolate.
place called yeah, out near a place called False Pass.
False.
False,
Oh,
false, false,
false.
false pass. That's a
Okay.
weird thing to name a place.
Let me tell you something about
I
that.
don't know, just jumped out to me.
There's
It
people.
just
There's
jumped out at me.
people living there. There's people living there in houseboats and stuff. Like they made a raft or something, and they tie it
Yeah,
off. Inland. They're not way out or nothing.
yeah.
They're in a cove. So we need to really pray over that area. Uh,
hmm Okay. So again, may I just interject here real
yeah,
fast?
you sure can anytime,
Because
anytime, sister.
you know, different language, different perspective. You say pray, I say focus on. Okay, same thing.
Okay, focus, pray. Yeah.
Same thing.
Meditate, meditate.
Like for everybody listening, right? Because this is an all-inclusive show. We don't leave anybody
Yes,
out,
it is.
right? You're not
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
not included here just because you're one or the other, right? We're all inclusive.
hmm
So pray,
hmm
focus, meditate, um,
Yes, yeah.
remote
You have to
view,
do it
like
all. Yeah,
any of those things are a different way to the same goal, right? And so, because personally, as a light worker, that's what we would do for, like,
yeah,
say, an earthquake coming that we know about, or a flood, or a tsunami, or whatever, hurricanes. We focus and direct our energy on diffusing the energy of that particular natural disaster. And now,
yeah.
again, praying is the same thing, right? You're praying for the same kind of outcome, for people to be safe, for,
Right.
lives not to be lost, so on and so forth. So I just wanted to stick that in there real quick, just for everybody to understand that it's
hmm
all the same thing.
Right.
So now
Well,
the sun also has this strange perturbation, this strange wobble thing happening lately. You know how the earth wobbles?
oh, the sun.
The sun.
Oh, the
The sun is
sun.
beginning to
Yes,
wobble.
I know. Okay.
And
What do you
that
think
is a
about that? Is not
scientific,
our. That's not our sun.
that is our sun. And it's a scientific fact that it's happening. It's like peer reviewed scientific evidence that just came out that our sun is now starting to wobble, perturb. Okay, so two things to think about. One, our sun is getting an upgrade. Okay, it's getting ready to transform, rebirth, do the phoenix thing, right? Butterfly, whatever,
hmm
whatever metaphor you want to
hmm
look at it. It's getting ready to change and have an upgrade, which we also will have our upgrade. Everything in our solar system and our whole entire galaxy really is upgrading on some level or another. But our particular reason for upgrading, and our particular reason our sun is perturbing right now, is because of that binary star that's coming around with its little mini solar system.
Yeah.
And the closer it gets to our
Yeah.
sun, our main
Yeah.
sun, they're like fighting, and this magnetic, energetic fight is happening out there right now. So that's why our sun is
Okay.
perturbating. That's why it's blasting us with all those solar flares and stuff too. Go ahead.
And it's also a way for the UFOs or UAPs to energize, like to refuel. There's some kind of
Yeah, same as
magnesium or
volcanoes.
something that they're taking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why they're always, you
Thunderstorms.
see them
Yeah,
all over the mountain and stuff like that.
sure.
Um, now, Alaska and their earthquakes, I think they're causing that. And I've been pulled towards the CERN that's in Switzerland because they're opening the portals.
Yeah,
But
I
I feel
know.
like they're doing so much stuff underground. There's a lot of
And
stuff going
again, that
on
is one
underground.
perspective. So yeah, I mean, we're
Yeah.
doing all perspectives here, and
Well,
that
we
is
have,
something to consider.
yeah, we have to look at
But on
every,
a
we have
bigger,
to look at every angle. Yeah.
sure, you do, you absolutely do. But on a larger scale, with this again, going back to this being God's plan, and everything
Mm-hmm.
is cyclical in our solar system and our planet and
Mm-hmm.
such. Um, from that perspective, I think it kind of removes that fear, that anxiety part of these people are here doing this that we can't control, and they're making all this weather manipulation and these earthquakes. And I mean, yeah, those things are happening. I'm not saying they're not happening. They're most definitely
Okay.
damn happening.
Well,
I was an avid
yeah, and they're
researcher in
seeding the
proving
sky.
it's happening.
They're seeding the
And they're seeding
skies.
the sky. That's the weather. That's the weather manipulation. But that's a two-phase reason that they're seeding the sky. That cloud seeding that they're doing is
They don't want
also
us to
to,
see what's going on.
to cloak and cover up the binary star so that we don't see
Yeah.
it until it's
Yeah.
too late. There's only one
Uh-huh.
reason they would want to do that. There's only one motive. And everybody says this to me,
Mm-hmm.
right? When I tell them what I think about all this, they're like, okay, what would be the motive behind it? Money, power, greed.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Lose it all.
Yes. Yes.
They lose it all. If
Okay,
everybody
listen.
truly just knew, only just knew the binary star part of it, they would quit their jobs, they would take all their money out of the bank, blah, 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 blah. But
And that's
I
getting
want
ready
to
to
tell
happen.
them, I want to tell them that, yeah, all these things are happening and all these things are happening. But the other
Yeah.
thing that could be happening is that we have the power to stop it. We have the power vested in us to stop all of
Yeah.
it. And we don't have to fight. We don't have to pick up a weapon. We don't even have to break a sweat. All you have to do is refocus your thoughts on not focusing on the certain stuff. I'm not saying don't look at it. Be aware that it's there. Know that it's there.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
refocus your
Yeah.
thoughts toward deflecting what they're doing. Deflect it so that it can't harm
That's
us.
where the coming
Like,
together. Everybody should, if everybody would come together, it would stop stuff immediately, but would have to be a permanent togetherness. You can't come together to
right.
stop it and then go back to your bad
And
self,
then,
because then it's
right.
just you're defeating the
It was,
purpose.
it was pointless. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. And, I watch a lot of other people on YouTube. There's all kinds of
Mhm.
people. And I think everybody needs to check out Janie Duvall. And I'm not, no, and I'm, the reason I say that is because there's a lot of other good videos out there. But a lot of times, and that'll be another topic too, where we can talk about symbolism and stuff, because I know a lot about that through
Oh, yeah.
Freemasonry. But
And the
uh,
mandalas.
I'm just throwing that. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay,
Yeah,
that can be another topic. But I'm just saying, I'm
definitely.
very aware of a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I know I just don't talk about. I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I do to you personally, but there's just things that there's so much stuff that I forgot about from years ago, from when I was younger. Because you live your life, you have to still go on and
Yeah.
live in life. You have to let
Yeah.
go
And
of
you
the
kind of
fear
fit. Sure.
and start knowing that
Yes.
God, our Creator, gave you all these abilities. But I'm going to say this,
Hmm.
and this is not from any kind of Christian or pagan or anything, it has nothing to do with religion. Religion is man made. And until people
Right.
start understanding that comes in from the Romans and stuff. Oh, I got to tell you, this is very
Right.
important. That now that I'm on that topic,
Chaldeans.
how they changed our calendar. Well, the year 2023
Yes.
in God's calendar. Listen, in God's calendar, it is 5783. Okay, and you can probably do a lot of research online and stuff and learn about that. Uh, it is all very spiritual, and this is the year of 5783, and it has to do with uh people's decisions. This is the year of I shut my eyes because I'm thinking, I'm seeing. So this is the year for people to, uh, it's your decisions. It's all the decisions that you're making. You've got to make the right decisions and move into the right
Yes.
place, in freedom in your heart. You do. You have free will. You have free will. And for
Yes.
all those out there with mental health and schizophrenia, start saying, I have free will and I choose the love and light. I choose the love and light. And be gone away from me. I bind you up and cast you out. You have no dominion over me. That's what people need to start saying
Mm.
about themselves. Now, let me go into this. The year 2024 is actually 5784 because these are that's God's calendar, our creator. It's his calendar. See, everything, that's what has people messed up too about the great awakening and stuff. People are trying to wake up, people are trying to understand, people want to know. Well, I'm trying to tell you, Kelly's trying to tell you, because although she has her views, I agree with a lot of her views also. And anyway, a lot of times when I say things, I will go to the Bible and read the scripture that I know that mankind has taken away from and added to. So I pray about it and I ask God, you know, you show me what you want me to see. You show me what you want me to know, because we are gifted through him. Okay. We are in his bloodline. We're all, people need to wake up and understand this. And the year 5784, which is 2024, okay, uh, is going to be the year of consequences, the year of consequences. And everything that is made hidden will come to light. And that's coming, yeah, like it went away real fast now. But it's the year that this is the year that everything is coming to light. But it's everything's speeding up so fast. Okay, and I mean, I seen it big time, didn't you?
Right.
Didn't you,
Yes.
Kelly?
And yes, yes, I did. And I agree with everything you're saying. And even I reference biblical texts. I even sometimes will
Yeah.
share particular chapters or verses on my Facebook group and stuff.
Oh,
But I also want to say
okay.
that.
I got. Mm. Okay,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. This is okay. Okay, I don't. I'm not trying to cut you off. It's real important, and I have to say it when it comes to me, or it'll leave me sometimes fast. Habakkuk 3,
Hmm.
Habakkuk 3, chapter 3, verse 3 in your Bible, and it says, God lived in the mountains of Paran, Paran, and he was from the land of
Right.
Tamu, and I don't like getting that wrong. Uh, and that he lived on the mountain of the Paran, P-A-R, Paran, Paran. Okay, Paran. That's what I'm getting. But people can look it up. See, that's the thing. I get word. It's Habakkuk 3, chapter
In
3.
Egypt.
Read it.
That's Mount Sinai in
'Cause
Egypt.
okay,
The
well, that's
Quran.
what I just,
And you did
okay,
spell
well,
it correctly as well. What was the Bible? Habakkuk 3?
Habakkuk 3,
It just
chapter
popped
3.
up.
Yeah,
I literally put in the letter H and the whole freaking thing just popped up. I am not kidding you.
that's good because that's what we're discussing. But anyway, I want people to know.
Okay, you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Lord, I have heard of your fame. I stand in awe of your deeds, Lord. Repeat them in our day. In our time, make them known. In wrath, remember mercy. Mercy. God came from Taman. the Holy One from Mount Paran. His glory covered the heavens, and his praise filled the earth. His splendor was like the sunrise. Rays flashed from his hands, where his power was hidden. Plague went before him. Pestilence followed his steps. He stood and he shook the earth. He looked and he made the nations tremble. The ancient mountains crumbled and the age old hills collapsed. But he marches on forever. I saw the tents of Cushan in distress, the dwellings of Midian in anguish. Were you angry with the rivers, Lord? Was your wrath against the streams? Did you rage against the sea when you rode your horses and your chariots to victory? You uncovered your bow, you called for many arrows, you split the earth with rivers. The mountains saw you and writhed. Torrents of water swept by. The deep roared and lifted its waves on high. Sun and moon stood still in the heavens at the glint of your flying arrows, at the lightning of your flashing spear. In wrath you strode through the earth, and in anger you thrust into the nations. Now, what do you hear when I read that? Because personally, what I hear is the description of a binary star being in our area and celestial shit being flown our way. That's what I
Yeah,
hear.
because see, okay, listen, let me tell you. Yeah, because he didn't stay. He left. He flew. Yeah, he flew. He left this, left here, left the world. And there's another world up there. And there is there is a great cleansing coming. And I will say this,
But what is it that's significant about Mount Sinai? Isn't that where Moses saw the
that's where
burning
Moses
bush and
went
stuff
up.
like that?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so
Hmm.
a lot of people see that account as like a celestial terrestrial event that happened, right? So if God came to Mount Sinai from Taman, then
Uh-huh.
isn't that saying that God came from somewhere else other than Earth?
Uh,
Which is okay by me because, in my opinion, God created Earth
I
and all the
do
other
think,
planets too. So,
well, I think God did come from somewhere else, but he was on this earth. This world is his. We just got a
oh,
bunch of
well, yeah. I
crazies
mean,
and very bad people in
right,
it and
right,
on it and around it. Yeah. And
right.
see, I want to say that too because this has been weighing heavy on me, and I'm getting confirmation that I need to say it. Uh,
Do
the
it.
war in Ukraine is not about Russia taking the land. It is about something much deeper, and has to do with NAZI and some other stuff. that can be a that can be tomorrow's topic if you want.
That's a heavy one.
I know some stuff.
A
Yeah,
whole
I
big
do know some
arms
stuff though. Huh?
full of censorships.
Well, I hope that if you're going to censor things, I know some other channels that say a whole lot worse than what we talk about, and they haven't done
I
nothing to
know,
them. And I look
I
at it like
know,
this:
but I
the
still have to be
truth,
careful.
the truth, the truth shall set you free.
Amen, sister.
Yeah. And they're getting ready to do digital currency, and everybody better beware. Everybody better
No, they're
beware.
not.
And
No, they're not. It's not going to happen. It only happens if we create it to be so. And if you believe
well,
that it's going to
yes, that's
happen,
true
forget
too.
that. If you believe that it's going
I
to happen,
don't.
then it
Well,
damn happens. And that crap is the
I don't
devil.
believe it.
I mean,
I know it
they
is.
don't call it crypto for no reason. It comes from the crypt. It's
Look.
dead.
Oh yeah, yeah. They have an agenda, and I know
Yeah.
that something was
But
put down when they did that concert last weekend with. We'll have to go over all those topics too, because Um, I've seen a whole lot about that stuff,
Yeah.
about
And
different
okay,
things.
let's
Yeah.
actually that's a good segue here. Let's talk about premonitions that we have
Okay.
had on the earth changes and stuff. And I'll let you go first and tell yours, and then I'll tell my premonitions as well. Because there's actually biblical notation that goes right along
Okay. I
with
want you to.
the visions that you have both seen, correct?
I
And
want.
if
Listen.
I may quickly say so,
Okay.
I'm going to take me off the video and go tinkle while you begin to tell your premonitions of the earth changes and things that you see coming for the Great Awakening. Okay? Because I got to go.
Oh, Kelly. When you get back, okay.
Ah,
But when you get back, I want you to take over because some things I can't talk about until you go first, so that I can have confirmation. And I want people to out there to understand.
okay.
A lot of times, I won't say nothing to Kelly, and I'll go to her house for the weekend and hang out, stay the weekend, and she'll start telling me things, and I'm like, whoa, 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 stop right there. I'm having
Right.
major premonition, and you are doing total confirmation. And sister, we are on the same page.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, interestingly
And
enough, I kind of seem to be like one of those catalysts for people to help um like jar their memory. Like certain things, I don't even know how
yeah,
it happens. I guess it's just God's will. Certain things that I say will like
yeah, but
trigger memories in people, and then all of a sudden they're just like, you know, and remembering all this stuff, and they're
yeah,
just like crazy stoked. And I mean, I love it. I love it. Right. But
I do
so,
too.
but you do have,
When I get around people like that,
I know it's great energy. I love it. But you have had
I know.
your own set of like dream premonitions, right? Dream visions
Yeah.
of earth changes. So I'll
Oh
have you
yeah.
to begin on one. You've seen different scenarios that could play out in the
Oh
mix of all
yes.
of
Yeah.
this.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
one of the scenarios that you saw was on the banks of the Ohio River when some alien craft were coming down.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. All right. I seen that
So
hot and heavy. I
you
seen
tell
it
that,
again
and
too.
I'll be right back.
Take a break. Okay. 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 My name is Candy or Candace, either one. Both is fine. Uh, okay. My mom, before she passed away, God rest her soul, she died in June 9th of last year. But she's in a better place. Anyway, um, uh, this was I wasn't actually at her house, but I was there. And when you stand on this big hill, it goes down into the Ohio River and stuff. But it's pretty much it's not on Louisville, Kentucky side. It's on the other side, like Brandenburg and Vine Grove and all that. Well, anyway, there's a lot of mountain range right through there along the Ohio River. It's real high up. I just call it a mountain range because it's high up. I was standing on this big hill and there was a lot of woods, which that's why I ended up going over there because when I have visions like that, sometimes I have to go see for myself, to check it out. And a lot of times when I have vision or what I call dream visions, because what it is, when you go to sleep and you lay down and you go into your deep sleep, and your psychologists want to say it's this and that and whatever else. That's just because they're going by a book. Anyway, um, I was in the medical field for 38 years and took 2 years psychology, so I know all about it. And I worked the psych floor for the last 10 years of my career. Anyway, while I was standing on this hill, I know I'm all over the place, but it just comes to me. It flows through me, and I have to go, blah, 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 blah. You know, see, I keep
I
journals.
know how
I
you
keep
are.
journals because
I
I know I have
know
nobody.
fabulous. Let's
I
bring it
have
back.
nobody to tell, and I have to
You're
keep journals.
you're
Yeah.
on the
So
hillside.
any,
I know.
anyway, I get really excited about when I tell my premonitions. Anyway, I was standing on a hill, and there was a lot of woods. But on the other side of the woods, were houses were kind of scattered on this side, but on the road that went up the center, on the other side, houses were closer together. There wasn't a whole lot, but there, just was a small road. And I mean, from that road, I could walk
Right.
down to the river. Well, but I was on a
Right.
hill. So anyway, I was standing there and I was looking at the river and I was just thinking in my mind, oh, that is so beautiful. I just loved it. And the water was glistening. I mean, it was just a beautiful scene. So anyway, something told me to look up. And you got to understand, I'm standing in this wood line on a big hill. But down below
Right.
me,
Not somewhere you would normally be.
there's other houses, but they're scattered and stuff. And there's more
Yeah.
woods, and then it
It's
goes
not
into the river.
somewhere, not really
So
somewhere
I
you would
look
normally
up.
go stand.
Right, right. Oh, I wouldn't go stand there uh, for just no
Yeah.
reason. So anyway, I'm sorry. My Bluetooth is my hair is stuck in it. Okay. So anyway, we I'm standing there and the Lord, I know it's the Lord because it's man's voice and it's real deep. He said, look up, and I did. So I looked up and really far off in a distance, I could see, like if you're standing and you look far away, you see an airplane, how it kind of looks smaller
Hmm.
until it starts flying your way and it gets bigger, the actual
Hmm.
size, you can see it. So
Hmm.
really far off, I was seeing these what looked like food being dropped out of planes. What I thought was food. I thought
Right.
because in this
Not your
vision,
typical,
I seen yeah, I seen all kinds of stuff, but it's like
not your typical kind of food dropping from the sky scene around here, right? I mean, that's not
okay,
something that happens.
right. No. Well, see, it's like
Yeah.
something you would do, like how we would do third world countries and stuff. And that's a whole nother topic too. So anyway, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
seen what I thought was food crates. So in my vision, I said, to my man, God, I said, oh, they're bringing food. We must be gonna have a food shortage. Okay. And I knew right then and there, he told me to prepare, my spirit. And I was like,
Be prepared.
okay, because see this, like just prepare my spirit, and be ready.
Hmm.
And I thought, well, okay, and see, the earth had not sped up because this was back in 2020 when I seen
Right.
it, but I've had another one since. But
Right.
anyway, I like to start off there. So anyway, I seen it and I thought it was food crates and they were bringing us food. People were bringing us food and that was the only way they could get it to us because there was a massive flooding. The water came in up to the mountains and North Carolina and all that. And that's you know, put it out there. Y'all better get ready. Get to higher ground. Uh, um, So the planes, I kept seeing them and everything. When I say that I hear voices or, in my vision at that time, uh, it's telepathic. I want people to know that. It ain't like somebody's talking to you with their
Right.
mouth. It's
Right.
not.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
telepathic. So
Yeah.
anyway, I looked at and anyway, I'm standing there and all of a sudden, while I'm looking up watching these what I think is packages dropping on the ground, food package to help feed us because we're all out in the country. We're country people, and you grow gardens and stuff. But I mean, there wasn't even seeds to plant. There was nothing. And I'm thinking food, they're bringing food, okay, because I'm thinking of the children. So anyway, um, as the planes are way off doing that, because it was more than one plane. It was like there was quite a few. Well, I seen these three silver UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call them. They were silver, and they weren't all disc shaped or nothing. These were, I tell you, these reminded me of a hexagon. Okay, that's how I can describe them. But all three were silver. They were shiny. They were, there wasn't no noise coming from them, and they were close, but they were headed towards the river. So I'm standing there, on the wood line, and as these UFOs, they weren't very high up in the sky. They were at tree level height, like a tall trees. So I'm standing there looking, and I'm like thinking in my mind, what in the world? Oh my gosh. I don't have my cell phone. I don't have no camera. I don't have nothing. Okay. And it's vision. It's just me dressed in my clothes. And how I know what time of year it was, a lot of times when I have visions, I'll see myself in a winter coat, or I'll see myself like fall, like, with a jacket on or something. So I know this was more like towards spring and fall, because it wasn't real hot, it wasn't real cold, kind of like September, October time. So for our area, you might have to wear a jacket every now and then, but nothing major. So these three UFOs go past, and the one on the very tail end, there's smoke coming out of it. And so they land in the water. They head towards the water, and I'm watching this, and I go up a little closer because, see, I'm like maybe two or three trees behind watching all this, and on this hill. And all of a sudden, all these people. See, before I didn't see people down there. I didn't see people nowhere. All I seen was houses and stuff like that. And I can tell you, when I have these, I don't see in black and white. I see colors. I can tell you if it was brick. I
Yeah.
can tell you if it was
Yeah.
green, the
Me too.
flowers, everything, the colors, the colors. I see
Yeah.
colors. So anyway, uh, uh, these UFOs land in the water because the two in the front know they have to help the one in the back. Well, I was looking, and I seen them because they were big. Like, I don't know, about the size of a car or a truck. It's pretty good size. So uh, they land in the river, and all of a sudden, all these people, hundreds of people, come from nowhere. They're all on the river. Because, see, in that area, even if you're on the Indiana side, you can go down to the Ohio River, Gage Kelly. There's
Yep.
picnic areas, and people, they have plots down there and everything else. So anyway, I see all these people running. Well, people are standing on the riverbanks looking, and I guess taking pictures. Of course, you know me, I wouldn't have daggone camera. And half the time they don't, mine won't even come on when we have wild things like that happening anyway. They drain your battery, use your energy or whatever. So the first one, uh, and they opened up from the top, from the top of the craft. And it's,
Hatch.
I'm not going to say it. Well, yeah, it was the alien. Like, they had on a suit with a helmet to breathe our oxygen or
Mm.
whatever they had to put on. So he gets out, and the other one gets out. They go to the third one to go help. Well, I'm thinking in my mind, oh my gosh, I'm going to go run. I want to see too. Well, as I'm doing that, this hand, and I mean huge hand from above, comes down in front of me and says, stop. This man's voice, he very deep voice. I know when he speaks, I listen very well. And he said, stop and look from afar. And I said, oh, okay. So I turned and I ran back into the tree line because I did what he said, because I knew that I had to listen to him. And uh, he said, look from afar. So now I'm back in the wood line and I'm looking from afar. I can still see everything going on down there. But all of a sudden, he tells me to look up, look up. So I'm looking up like this and I'm looking to my left. Don't ask me why, it's just the way that he directed me, I guess. But I was looking off to my left like this, and he told me, he said, "You're to look from afar." He told me that when things come, don't run to them, look from afar, you know? And so, anyway, the airplanes were getting closer and closer. And he took my focus completely off what was going on at the river, you know, like the UFOs and all that. Then my uh, spirit, myself, whatever, shifted, and I was looking up, and in my mind, I said, "Oh my goodness, them planes are really getting closer." He said, "Run, run to the tree line, to the left, you know, or whatever coordinates he gave me." I understood what he meant, so I ran to the left, and I ran to the other side of the woods through the tree line. I didn't go way back in the woods. I was kind of like maybe 100 yards, you know, in the woods. So, because that way I could still see what was going on to my right in the field as I ran. I was running. I got over there to the other side and I stopped and I looked up and he told me to pay attention. And so I did. And as I was paying attention, I was looking up. This one plane come flying over. Oh, I'm so glad nobody jumped out of that one. But they were jumping out from afar, and I thought it was food, but it wasn't. They were men jumping out of them airplanes as they got closer. It was men, military men, okay, jumping out of these airplanes. And when that one plane went past me, it said USSR. Okay, we all know who that is. And all of a sudden, the voice told me, "Run and let the others know they're here, they're here." So I started running and knocking on doors. And my mom lived on that same road. She doesn't anymore, but she did. And she
Right.
lived on top of a
And
hill too.
this premonition was about showing you um,
Hmm.
the the invasion or entrapment, if you will, of people from another country coming into our country and entrapping us
Yeah.
in these end times. And I just want to say to
Well, they're
anybody
here
who's
to
wondering
kill.
why, I just
Hmm.
want to say to anybody that would be wondering why I would ask you to bring this story up is simply to show how there's lots of people that have premonitions, right? And sometimes those
Hmm.
premonitions
Yeah,
don't
there
come
are.
true, and other times they don't. Other times they don't come true. And so people tend to think like in the terms that, well, they weren't right on that premonition, or, oh, they were right on this one. But really, what we need to all understand
Hmm.
is that with the whole many worlds theory and the point that many different scenarios could play out, many different odds of probability could play
Well,
out, that
yeah, it
we're
can.
all going to be shown these different types of timelines or scenarios, if you will, that could play out
Hmm. Hmm.
if
Hmm.
certain conditions don't happen for us to like collectively wake up and start changing our evil ways, basically. Um,
Yeah.
and how I
Well,
actually
see.
come to that understanding is myself personally, I was shown multiple different scenarios, not all at the same time, not all at once, but like I would be shown glimpses of what it could look like if this happened, or I could be shown a glimpse of what would happen if that happened, right? And it could be the exact same
Yeah.
type of event that's playing out, but a whole different scenario. And I couldn't understand for the longest time why in the world would I be seeing all of these contradictory premonitions, if you will? And then I started understanding that whole theory about the many worlds theory and how the odds of probability can change. I mean, literally daily, they change all the time. The numbers are always crunching
Yeah,
and changing. The
yeah,
outcome of our destiny is consistently moving and changing. And
yeah.
so
It is.
I think we need to all talk about these different premonitions, these visions that we've been shown, these different scenarios that could play out, not on the grounds of fear based information, but on the
Yeah,
grounds of
yeah.
factual information to take all the pieces of the puzzle and say, okay, if this doesn't change, then this, or this are all very highly likely to happen, or maybe all of the above. Who the hell knows,
Exactly.
right?
Well, I
And
think
so
when
I
I
think
seen
it's
the
really
airplanes
important
with the,
to treat
mhm,
all premonitions, all visions as legitimate, treat them with respect,
yeah,
and
hmm,
validate them as a very real possibility of a scenario that could play out if we don't change something. And you
yeah.
know that you're not the
Well,
only
I
one that's
actually
ever
was
spoke
told
of
that.
the Russians coming here, right? I mean,
Pardon?
there's even people talking right now. You're not the only one that's ever spoke of the Russians coming here and invading us when the chips are down for
Well,
us, or somebody
I
else.
can tell y'all something.
And and I believe that there
It's
are
not just
people right now
it's
that are.
not just the Russians. It's the Chinese too.
Well, that's
I
what I was
believe
going to
it's
say. There
more
are
than
people right
one.
now who actually claim that we have Russian and Chinese troops near our borders right now. I mean, I don't know that that's a fact or
Huh?
not. I'm not there to
Not
see
there.
them, so I don't know if they're really there or not. We can only go by what people are telling us. So,
Well,
uh,
I was
who
told in my
knows
spirit there were
which
six
scenario
thousand
is
men.
ready to play out?
I was told in my spirit there were 6,000 men. And I will say this: one of my really, really good acquaintances owns a Chinese restaurant. And I want y'all to know this out there in the world. They are Chinese descent to an extent, but they're not Chinese. Everybody says these Chinese restaurants are not Chinese, they're
Careful.
Taiwanese. They come, okay, but
Okay.
they come from the South China. They're good friends
Okay.
of mine, well, good acquaintances. And I want people to know that uh, there are a lot
We don't want to
of
single. We
good
don't want to single
people.
anybody out. Yeah, we don't want
I'm
to
not
single anybody
signaling
out.
anybody.
Yeah.
No, what I'm trying to say is when I see things, and I've seen the USSR thing, and I've seen the Chinese thing, and I want people to know there is a difference, and people are people. It doesn't matter if you're Asian or Native
Yeah.
American
Greek,
or anything. Because I'm
Russian,
Native
Italian,
American,
French,
German, and
Spanish.
Irish.
Yeah.
Huh?
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah,
No,
I
it
mean,
doesn't matter.
it does not matter
We're
who
not.
you
It's
are or any of that.
yeah.
What I'm saying is, I have, well, I can call them a friend, but I don't never see them unless I go to the restaurant and eat. And that's once in a blue moon because, it's just expensive. But anyway, I'm just saying, I love those people. They're good people and they're here to have their freedom too, just like we are. And I here's my thing on all that with the as far as that. I know there are a lot of bad people that have been let into this country, and you have got to change your ways because somebody in this country will get you back. That's all I can say about that. You can't come here and go around abusing people and stuff. That's not, it is about togetherness and coming
Right.
together and being there for
Right.
each other. And I've had a lot of premonitions. Let's talk about one of yours. Let's talk about one
Oh,
of yours.
well, you kind of caught me off guard there. Um, I was gonna say that, yeah, we're not trying to say that just because your premonition had Russians in it that all Russians are bad or anything like that. We're not trying to single people out. Just for
Yeah.
clarity of anybody listening. We love all people and
Well,
all cultures
yeah.
and all countries and everything. We're in this together, all of us. And I know some really
I love
amazing
everybody.
Russians, and I love the way they talk. I wish I could just. I love their accent when they speak English. It's so freaking badass.
Hmm.
But but
Well, I know.
yeah, I mean,
I've met some
there's
that
no
live here where
prejudices.
I'm at. I met some. That boy, he looked like a lumberjack. I was like, ooh, hot dog. Can you reach up there
Ooh, hot
on
dog.
that shelf way?
Ooh la
Yeah, I was
la.
like, sir, could you reach up there? This man was tall.
Would
He
you
looked
get
like a
that for
super
me?
soldier. But now
Right.
I was shown that there's super soldiers in the mountains of Tennessee. They've got certain
Oh,
areas.
well, that's a very real program and a whole separate topic. Um, for sure.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
a
I'm saying.
whole freaking
I
show in
know.
itself. But
Yeah, we
um,
can do one on that too because I do know about
when
that.
I was young, some of my first premonitions when I was young, uh, that were
Oh
of the
yeah.
earth changes
Now.
were
Oh yeah. Oh
of
yeah. Me
really
too. Hmm.
um, magnificent cataclysms, really horrific events. And I feel now as an adult looking back on those
Pardon me.
particular visions that they were really more of like things that have happened in past scenarios or past events,
For you.
like for example, maybe Atlantis going under and why that happened, or Noah's flood taking place. I just was too young to have a title to put on it to call it Noah's flood. Because I was shown really horrendous things like that, where people were drowning and I could hear them crying out for help, all of them, thousands of voices echoing, crying for help and stuff. And it was very
Hmm.
frightening for a child. I didn't really understand why I was seeing these scenarios. So in my young mind, I was thinking it was things that would play out in our future. And then I think I've kind of come to understand that this is stuff I was being shown that has already taken place before, that this is definitely something that could happen in our future because it's taken place before. And it's up to us collectively, how do we choose to go down, basically? You know, do we go down easy?
Well,
Um, because we're
it's not going to end
changing,
by
and it's
flood.
and
I'll
it's
tell
more
you
of
that.
a you're just going down on your knees and
Uh,
becoming humble, or is it do we go down hard because something takes us down? Like how willing are we to surrender our ego and come back to one? Come back to a unity. And I don't mean like new world order kind of bullshit oneness.
right, right,
I mean
right.
like true
Yeah.
oneness, true harmony and
Well, I'm
peace
not
and
doing that
balance
one
and
world order shit.
right. Everybody needs to have respect for each other and literally coexist, truly understand how to coexist.
Exactly.
And that's I think that's about full acceptance, which is also interesting because along with my premonitions that I've had through life of different cataclysms that could
Uh-huh.
happen, I've had many lessons about all of the variations of acceptance that there are. There's so many different levels of how to be accepting of others. And we truly need
Yeah.
to come back to understanding that for sure so that we can make a difference collectively and we can prevent ultimate chaos and hell to rain down on us. Um, Biblically speaking, we've had these sounds around the world that people hear. Some people describe them as trumpets, other people describe them as mechanical. I personally feel like we can
Okay,
explain them
I've heard both. I've
scientifically.
heard both.
Hold on. I personally feel like we can explain those scientifically. Sounds of the earth in its movement and in its change because of the binary star that's coming nearer and that whole gravitational war that's happening now for our planet and every other planet in the solar system. But I think this is what they refer to in Revelations when they speak of the trumpet sounding and the four horsemen coming and all of these changes happening, that these are harbingers of what's to come if we don't get right with God. And I believe you can maybe answer this better for me, but I believe if I remember correctly, it even says something like that in Revelations about getting right in your spirit.
Yeah,
And we were both told in our premonitions to be prepared in our spirit.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And uh-huh. I was told that. Yeah, and um,
mhm.
a lot of people are getting prepared, but as in the days of Noah, people will be giving marriage, having babies, and doing all these things and living their life, and that's what we should be doing. But there's so many people that are so evil that they they need to be taken off this earth. That's all I can say because they are not going to turn from
Well, it
their
certainly would
ways.
make life simpler.
And but now, as far as
But at the same time, but
harbingers
at the
and
same
stuff,
time,
yeah,
but at the same time, in all fairness, that whole acceptance thing that I just spoke of, like even the
yes,
evil people have their role here, right? They're necessary
yeah,
in
yeah,
order for us to know the difference between good and bad. They're necessary.
yeah,
So,
mm-hmm,
you know, I'll give them that much
yeah,
respect.
yeah. I don't approve of their ways. He can stay far away from me.
I don't
But
either,
I know we're
but I
supposed.
can see where they're necessary. So I can honor
Yes.
that.
Well, um, I'll tell you, when I was a little girl, like I said, I can go all the way back. I mean, I can visually see my brothers holding me and saying, "Oh, there's our little baby sister." I mean, I see them doing that. And but when I was 2 years old, uh, is when I started, like, I guess, astro projecting, and uh, I felt like I wasn't never alone. I was always with at least one or two people that I I couldn't see them, but I knew they were there. So it was like maybe I was being taken. That was my that's what I was getting from it because I always went. You see, I always went, and then um, during one of them, I actually woke up, and I was like, okay, and they knocked me out, brought me back, but they didn't knock me out all the way because they had to do that to bring me back to get me in through the house, because we went through the window or whatever, the wall, window, whatever. But anyway, they brought me back, and as soon as they did, I jumped up, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I looked out the window, and as soon as I did, I seen the fog and the green hue of light. Okay, like when we talked about the other episode, and I actually got to see them. But that wasn't
Yeah.
until I was 45. I was like 45 years old, 45, 47, somewhere around in there, my late 40s. But anyway, when I actually seen them, but they told me that they were the ones that always can't come to me and stuff. And I always knew it. I always knew. It's like you just know. You know what I mean? And I don't have fear. There's two groups, and I don't have fear of them. And they've never scared me really, but they took me and showed me the West Coast, the East Coast. They showed me all
Yeah.
the way
But
around, and they
if you
showed
don't
me
mind,
that if people don't come to the light and love and change, then things would come forward. things would move forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
Definitely.
why God, our creator, is allowing more time because our creator does not want to see his children perish. But
Right.
because of lack of
I'll agree with that.
knowledge and a lack of wisdom, and people like us are trying to get the message out there. And yes, I can do everything from a spiritual perspective because that's what it is. We are spiritual beings. Let me say this: we are spiritual beings in a human body. We are not a human body in a
Yeah.
spiritual being. We are spiritual beings in a human body.
Yeah.
And we are gifted
Yeah.
and we are love and light, you know?
Yeah.
Because I watch a lot of prep stuff on YouTube too. And uh, uh, like I was a prepper and everything, and I had all kinds of stuff, camping stuff, survival
Yeah.
gear, and,
Yeah. Yeah. Me
but
too. I have a bug
I was
bag. I have
robbed.
all of that. And
Well,
interestingly
I had
enough,
to,
okay,
I had to start over because,
okay, that's okay that we have to start over because again, I think
mhm.
those are lessons that we all need to experience for something else, right? And we've talked about that before, but that's personal stuff for you, and I don't want to get into that. But
Oh no, I
when
was
I
just
was
saying
first
that I had to start over. Yeah, prepping.
when I was first told to be prepared, like that was my knee jerk thought was that I need to stockpile food, learn how to live off the land, get my bug out bags ready, store the water, store the seeds. You know, I was like blah, 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 doing it all, right? I killed myself
Yeah.
almost doing it. I spent 10 years of my life dedicated to being prepared for shit to hit the fan before I got to the
Yeah.
point
And the
in my
more,
spiritual journey where I was
yes.
then learning and realizing that, oh, okay, that's not what God was meaning to be prepared about. Yes, those are good things to know about. And those are things that a lot of people are
Yeah,
probably
that's
going to
what I,
need to learn from me one day if the collective can't get their shit together and shit does hit the fan. You know, I'm going to have to be a teacher for prepping one day, right? For
okay,
survival.
that's what I was going to
So
say.
it was necessary lessons for me to learn for that reason. But to be prepared really
Exactly.
meant to
Exactly.
be prepared in your spirit and to fully know who we are and what we really can do. And that is when it
Uh
really
huh.
clicked in my experience, my journey, what God meant when He said to me that we are who we've been waiting for. Because as a child, I was raised Southern
Yeah.
Baptist. So, you know, Jesus coming back again, the second coming was like my thought of what we were waiting on to happen, right? And then there's other people, other Christians who are like, you know, the Armageddon is what they're waiting on, or the rapture is what they're waiting on, and blah blah blah. There's different terms for all of it, right?
They're losing
But
focus. Yeah.
all of it does culminate in the book of Revelations and perfectly describes the cyclical scenarios that are playing out right before our eyes right now and will continue to play out and amp up. But those people, again, back to the Bible, are saying, you know, God's saying to them, be right in your spirit, right? Be prepared, be right in your
Yeah.
spirit.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
that,
And
if
it
anything
also, he
is the
also
takeaway
states that,
from this, if anything's the takeaway from this episode, I should hope that it's that we really need to more
yeah.
prepare in our spirit so that collectively we can survive, maybe not unscathed because it's not a perfect world,
Well,
but pretty damn good. We could survive pretty damn good,
I'll tell you what I was told in my
you
spirit.
know?
I was told that I was told that it was okay for me to have all my camping stuff and everything, but that why worry about the food and things like that? Because he said, Do you see the
It takes
birds?
your
I
focus
feed the
off of
birds.
what you're.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feed the
Right,
animals. They
right,
have shelter. Why do you
because
worry?
God
And
will
I
provide.
stopped right then and there. I stopped right then and there because
Right,
he showed me an empty pot. He showed me all these people that was
right,
around a table and they were praying to God to help them because they had no food. And they had an
yeah,
empty pot sitting on the table
right.
and it filled with soup.
Moses and the people that wandered through the woods for 40 days and 40 nights had manna from heaven brought down to them to feed them. Right? God will provide. Walking in
Yeah,
faith
he
is
will.
how we truly prepare.
Yeah,
Walking in
that's
faith
how we're supposed to prepare.
is how
Uh
we
huh.
prepare.
Uh huh.
That's how you get in your
Yeah,
spirit.
because when I had
That's how
that,
you change
yeah,
the probability to being something that's a very livable, very doable outcome for our scenario. Walk in faith.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, it's great to have some food
yes.
storage. It's great to have some seeds. It's great to have some spare water because there's going to be minor natural disasters
Well,
that
yeah,
where you
but
don't
you
have
don't
power
have to
for
go
2
gung
days, 7,
ho.
11 days, whatever. No, you don't have to have like a whole
You don't have
warehouse full of prep gear.
no and stock up on all the toilet paper. I
Right.
remember
And you
I
don't
couldn't
have to
even
have
get
your
toilet paper
millionaire
half the
underground
time.
bunker.
Oh,
You don't have to
oh,
have your
oh, that'll be
millionaire's
another
underground
show. I
bunker.
can tell
And
you
that's
about the
another
bunkers.
premonition. That's another
I had one
premonition
about
that I
that.
actually had was all of the elite went into their bunkers and then they were flooded and trapped in there
Yeah, well, the mountains came down on the ones I seen. Yeah, like in
because
West Virginia and stuff. But I seen that worldwide. But he said those in the bunkers that are of God will be saved. But those that are not,
right
they're
because
they created their own grave. That's what they did.
that's right
All their money
that's
created.
right because that's what I was.
They're creating their own grave.
Yeah,
Yes, I
I was
seen that
told
too.
when I was shown all when I was shown all of these bunkers being flooded and these people not being able to survive like they thought they did after they threw thousands and millions of dollars at
Sorry
it.
about that.
I was being told very clearly that the meek inherits the earth this time, and they are of the greed,
Yes.
and that's why this balance has to change. And that's why nothing
Yeah.
can stop what's coming. I don't care what trick they pull. I don't care what CERN machine they have. As long as they don't
Yeah.
control your mind, your thoughts,
That's
they
right.
can't control this outcome. Period.
Uh
Mic
huh.
drop.
That's right.
Boom.
That's right.
That's a good place to end the
Yep.
show.
That's right.
Do you have any
Yep. And with
closing
that being
thoughts?
said, um, no, I agree with that. That's right. That's correct. You said it, sister. Amen. I
Amen.
just want
Amen. Let's
everybody out
claim it and
there in
let's
this.
mind our thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Channel and focus that energy
I
somewhere good and beneficial for everybody.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do that. I do that. I sit and I meditate and I smell the roses and blow out the
Yeah.
fire and
Right.
meditation
Right.
and
Let it go.
I visualize the love and light and I mean bright light of love
Right.
on
Right.
everybody on the world
You know what? That I
because
think that's a beautiful visual. How about we just take a moment and we do that
yeah,
at the end of this to close it out. Let's just take a nice breath and
yeah,
blow it out and let it go and
you
let it
smell the
flow.
roses, blow out the fire and you just focus on sending out love and light unto the world. Love and light to the world. Smell the roses,
Love and light.
blow out the fire. And anybody out there that does that, if you will just go to your happy place and be zen, even sitting in the living room on the sofa or in the center of your bed, or even laying down in your bed, at night or whatever, if you will smell the roses
Yeah.
and blow out the fire and do it more than once, 3 or 4 times, you will feel the energy shift in your body. You will feel the
Yes, you will.
love and the happiness that
Yep.
flows
And the
through you.
calmness,
Yes.
the
And
peace.
anybody having anxiety, that is great. Look, if you're
Oh,
having
it's great.
anxiety,
Yeah.
let, it is so wonderful. And you can go, just let it out. Because I'm the type of
Yep.
person that I'm such a strong empath and stuff and intuitive and everything. I can't hardly go to a grocery store. And when I go to a grocery
Mm.
store and there's a lot of people, I have to stay focused on what I'm in there for because when I get around people, and I do shield myself, I do all that, but sometimes it's like it won't shut off. So I still see
It's too
things and,
much.
and I know
Hmm.
things. Yeah. And sometimes I have, when I'm going shopping, I mean, I don't really like stop and think if anybody's looking at me because I really don't care. But I'll go, like breathing to make it through that store.
Yeah.
And the last time I went, I broke down
Yeah.
crying because I was picking up stuff from 2 or 3 people standing at the daggone looking at chicken and stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, they didn't have to say anything. I felt it. I felt it.
Yeah.
What they were thinking
Absolutely.
and
And
feeling, I
I've
felt it.
actually,
And I had to leave the store
yeah,
because I broke down crying. And this one lady said, "Honey, are you
I
okay?" And I
know.
said, "No, no. There was just an accident in my family. I'm sorry. I got to go, and I got a flat tire or
Yeah.
something like that." And I don't claim that, but I'm just saying I make up something simple. My fish died
Well,
and something reminded me of my fish dying or something.
right.
But, I just broke down, man. I couldn't handle it. I had to get out of that grocery store quick. I didn't even buy any food or nothing. I mean, I was there to go shopping and I was like, I cannot do this right now. It was like
Right.
there was a
I
lot of
actually
emotion
have,
in it.
yeah, I actually
I,
have a lot
I,
of clients that come to me and say the same thing, that it's very hard for them to be around a lot of a populace, a very filled field. And that's
mhm.
one of the things that I've been
Well, do
trying to
they
help people learn
do
how
they
to
know
do,
that
because,
do they
like
know
you
they're
said,
gifted?
sure, of
Do
course,
they
most of
realize
them
they're
do,
gifted?
yes. Um, yes, they wouldn't be coming to me if they
Mhm.
didn't know that. Yeah. but there are people out there that don't know why they get bombarded with that feeling. But my point here was
Mhm.
that I'm hoping to teach people that they're right. Sometimes shielding isn't enough. And so you need to know also how to like transmute that energy as you're feeling it coming in, transmute it into that happiness and that joy and that, that smile on your face, because that changes the energy. It changes the vibration that's happening. And that way you don't have to feel it, and the other people around you that don't know why they're feeling it don't have to
Oh,
feel it. You can
sorry.
transmute it.
I
Whoops.
just lost you. Okay.
That's okay.
Sorry. Okay.
So
That's
anyway,
deja vu for
we're
me.
gonna end right there. We're gonna just go ahead and end right there because we went pretty long.
Yeah. I know we were only going to be on
And
here
we'll,
for about an hour or so. And now it's
yeah,
1 o'clock in the morning. But it's because we get so
yeah,
I don't know about you, but I feel the energy and I'm like, yes, yes. I mean I get excited about
absolutely.
being able to tell, you know? about being able
Yes,
to say
absolutely.
what I'm sent to say. And
Yeah.
I love you, Kelly.
I
You're
love
my
you
best
too,
bud.
Candy. You're my best bud. And
You're my best bud,
again, I just want
girl.
to put it out there for everybody that this platform is open and welcoming to anyone who wants to share their story the way we're sharing ours, so that you have a place to tell people what you've never been able to tell before. So, anybody that's interested, leave me a
Yeah,
comment down below, send me an email, reach out to us on the website, and we would be happy to put you on
yeah,
the show with us. Okay?
yeah.
So,
We can
until
do
we meet
that.
again for Deja Brew, everyone be well and
Deja
be blessed
brew, and I have deja
in love
brew
and light.
all the time. Peace out.
Peace out.